everyone, to a classic song. Oh boy, Poison really outdid themselves on this one. I want to dedicate this to my good friend Dave. We've been sharing stuff back and forth, emailing, and he reminded me of how good CC DeVille is. If you have any doubt, watch Unplugged. He just kills it. The 80s, I really, at that time in my career or life, I was busy playing blues and blues bands around Toledo, Ohio. So I really kind of skipped a lot of 80s rock, if you will. So this was a fun one to learn. We are tuned down a half step. So tune your E string down to E flat. And the rest of your strings to follow. With that said, I made some notes for this. They'll be available below the video for you to download and enjoy and follow along. We'll get into the song. Not real difficult, but well executed. I really enjoyed this song. We're going to start out with going from a C to a D and then F sharp to G. All right. C's going to start out with, we're going to hit it and then kind of chuck it and then hit it 3 more times before sliding up. Then we're going to hit it again on the 7 with a slight chuck and then 3 more hits. And then we're going to slide in. This will be 3 times. Each time you slide in, you'll strike it twice. All right, the 3rd time, you'll strike it twice without sliding. Alright, kind of slide down from there and start over. The next measure of the intro, there's only 1 more strike. So you're going to do a down, up, and then back, down. So it'll sound like this. Now you want to let that chord ring the last measure there, and you'll do a pick slide. So you can do this, I mean, it's overdubbed. I'm pretty sure he's using a phaser on one of the guitars. It might be a flanger, but I'm using I was using a phaser. I was using a phaser in the intro that I did to the video. But anyhow, when you're holding this G chord, do your pick slide, start about mid pickup, and just go up the E string so your G chord can ring out. This is one of the longest pick slides I know of in any song. But what you do is slide up that 6th string while that G chord is ringing, and then you're going to start the verse. Okay, first verse, I'm calling this 1A because there's a slight bridge where they do the lick that you recognize. Alright, I consider that a bridge, and then we're finish out the verse 1. Alright, so I call it A and B. That's how I did it in my notes. Might not be correct, but right. We're going to slide from 11 to 12, and it's a 12 count, and then you slide in again, count 12 times. You'll do the same thing for D. You're going to go from C sharp to D, 12 count, C sharp to D again, 12 count, and same with B to C. Alright, so that's how he does verse 1. Alright, so you get that, and then you go to C. And so forth. Okay, so we got that down. After we go through that once, the second time that you start this again from the F sharp to G is what I consider the bridge. Because we're going to only do the G, a 112 count, and then we're going to move to a D. Alright? The D is when the lick happens. Alright, so it would go like this. And then you're back in to finish the verse. All right, but let's talk about that lick. It's so cool, and it happens and is such an integral part. What you can do, especially if you're one guitar, just play that G, and then when you hear him go into C, you can do that along with him. The lick is based on a D chord. I'm sorry, I keep saying C. That's a D chord. The lick is based on a D chord, but at the 6th fret versus our 5th fret. All right. So what we're going to do is hit the 3rd string from 10 to 11, and then we're going to catch the 1st string at 10. All right, and then we're going to come back, same beginning, but then we're going to end on the 12th fret of the 4th string, and then it's slid down. So you have this: 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Just, it really fits in there well. Okay, so we've got our fill there, and now we're into basically the 1B of the verse. Okay, for verse 1B, he changes the rhythm. He's going to go into more of a chording rhythm. So we'll be playing the full chord with a little dead string chuck in between. Okay, it'll sound like this. I'm going to go over just the F sharp to G. All right, so what we're doing there is basically sliding in, striking it, and then hitting it dead. Then we're going to do 2 upstrokes with 1 downstroke. And then again, 1 more time, and then a dead, and then a stroke. And then we move to the D chord. All right, the D chord's a bit different because he's going to add some of the 6, like taking our pinky to it. So you can do it that way if you're comfortable. I found it just easier to use the bottom half of the chord. So I'd be on the 4th, 3rd, 2nd string, and the rhythm's the same. Okay, so you can see what changed there. We added that 3rd string. All right, so we're going to go down, up. I'm sorry, down, chuck up, down, up, down, and then we do like a little deadened, and then onto that. Back, and then we're going to do it for 2 more times. All right, so follow me with this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll take a little bit of practice, but if you follow my notes, you'll be able to get that. Okay, the C chord's next. Again, we're going to change up what we do. So we're going to do very similar beginning with that 2nd half of the C. All right, so what we do different there is after the 2nd up, down, what we're going to do is grab the 5th string, palm muted, and then strike the 4th and 3rd string, power chord referencing that C. Again, slight pause there. All right, so we have this. Then we're going to come back with the same thing, but slide up. And then we come to our G, right to the G. Okay, so let's take it from the D slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that'll give you a feel for what he does so differently when we go, after we go through that bridge. We're back with a half measure of F sharp to G and then C sharp to D. All right. When he does it C sharp to D, again, you'll hear an harmonics. It's not real prominent, but it's there, and it's during the second half. I've noted it in my notes. But what we're doing is playing the harmonic on the 7th fret of the 2nd string to the 3rd string. All right. So that leads us into another, actually the chorus. All right, so the chorus is going to start out very similar to our beginning. All right, we'll have 2 measures of that. All right, so that's the first 2 measures of the chorus. The ending with the G chord is simply struck twice, as we did in the first measure of the intro. So the 3rd measure of the chorus is when we stop. The difference is we're not going up to an F sharp G, we're going to actually go up to an E. Each time you go up, you want to kind of slide in, slide back. We're going to add an A then, okay, and then stop on our D. So it'll sound like this. And then we finish out with. All right, and then we're into the next verse. All right, so it's basically E, back to C, then our A, and stop on D. Then we're into the second verse. Second verse, little mishmash with the first verse. What we're going to do is our slide into the G, but we'll do 6 counts instead of 12. So there'll be 4 sliding into a G. And so forth. For the D, we're going to slide in once, count to 6, and then do those licks. Alright, so it'll sound like this. And then we go up into the C. Okay, so you get the idea, but that D is a little tricky. Again, it's overdubbed, and that's almost a little bit back in the mix. If you listen for it, you'll hear it, but it's not as prominent. So if you just keep that D going, you're fine. All right, and then we're into bridge 2. Bridge 2 will be a little more chorded with the G for half measure, and then to our D with the harmonics. Alright, I didn't do the harmonics, but you know they're there. And then we're into chorus 2. Now, chorus 2 is exactly the same as chorus 1. Alright, we're going to do the 2 measures just like the intro, and then our stop. And then when he says talk dirty to me, of course, we're going to come back with our F sharp to G. The only difference is after we hit the 2 strikes after sliding in, we'll hit 2 more strikes, if you will, and then we come to our D with palm muting. All right, for 12 count, and we're into the solo rhythm. All right, so the chorus will lead us into the solo rhythm. So let's take it from the F sharp to G. We'll do that the 3 times, then 2 more strikes, and then to our D palm muting. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and then we're into the solo rhythm. Solo rhythm will sound like this. All right, a little bit short on that last D, but kind of a, hit your chord, lift off. It'll be 3 strikes and then 2 quick strikes. And then that repeats. Go back, so we've gone C to G, back to C, then we're going to go up to D. All right, after that point we start it again, C, back to G, and then we go to D for 1 1/4 measure. We're going to hit 2 hits and stop after doing that. And then we've finished the solo rhythm. We're into the third and final chorus, which is a lot different because it's taking us out of the song. So the third chorus, our very first measure is the same as what we know from the very first, the intro, that first measure, the first measure of the chorus. The second measure, he changes it a little bit. We'll go over that. I'm going to play the first 2 measures and then we'll talk about the second measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so what we're doing that second measure is we're going to hit the F sharp to G 3 times. The third time is short. So we're going to hit it twice, the G, the first 2. This third time we're going to hit it once. Then we're going to move to an actual F. And then an open A, which gives us time to come back to the rest of the chorus at C. Alright, so let's take it from the F sharp to G in the second half of the measure. So we'll shorten that third one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that A is not like it's just a passing note that gives your ear something to hear while you're moving to the, because it's so fast. Okay, but I want to mention that because it's good technique to learn. Again, this is a great technical song. Okay, again, being the third chorus, we're going to go now to our E and back to C and then A and then D, but we're not going to stop there. Again, this is the outro, so it kind of keeps it going with some different moves. I'll show you this third measure, which is, again, a little extended. There is a lick involved in there, and I've noted it where it is in my notes. We'll go over the lick and the solo after all the rhythm. Okay, so the third measure of the third chorus. third measure, the third chorus here is gonna, again, we're leading out of the song. What they do that's different from other third measures of the chorus is after the A to D, we're not gonna stop. We're gonna keep going. So I'm gonna go through this extended third measure, and then we'll stop and talk about it. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Talk dirty to me, and we're almost to the end. So this extended measure, like I said, after our A, we're going to come to the D, continue on and slide up to 12. All right, we'll do the 12 3 times, back to our E at the 7th fret. Now we kind of start it again. We're going to go from the 3rd fret, the C, to the D, and then I don't want to say end on 12, but we will be kind of ending it there, the 3rd measure. All right, so let's take it from the beginning. Again, when we come up to this G at that point, we're going to hit the G and then start moving down from G to F sharp to F and E. Alright, so I want to talk about what I feel he's doing and what I hear in this song. Alright, we've come up to the G, we'll hit it again. Then we go G, and then we're going to move the F sharp while keeping our middle finger on the 4th and 3rd string at 12. Then going to an F, A, and an E. Okay, this is what I hear on the recording. I don't think he's just moving down. That works, but again, I'm pretty sure he's just sliding the 1st finger the 1st time. Alright, and then we're going to go back to our C, Talk Dirty to Me, and then stop on D. Talk Dirty to Me, and this is the outro, alright? So the outro is basically our F to F sharp to G, 3 times, stop, again, and then we're going to go to a G to end. Okay, the G's a power chord. We don't want a B in it. So you use your ring finger and pinky on the 1st and 2nd string, your middle finger on that G note 6th string, and mute the 5th string, B. Alright, so that is the end of the song. We've got a couple licks to go over and the solo, which is very tasty chord soloing, and you'll have the whole song. Okay, the very first lick you'll hear is in the 15th position. Kind of a Chuck Berry thing. We're going to be on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string at 17, bending that up, and then hitting 15 on the 2nd to 15 on the 1st. We'll do that twice. Then we're going to unison bend, or strike that 3rd string, bending it and catching the 2nd string. Then we move that up for 2 more strikes on a unison bend on 17 and 19. Alright, so it'll sound like this. second lick you'll hear is still in this position, if you will, but you want to have your first finger in the 14th position. So the second lick will sound like this. We're going to keep our first finger in the 14th position here because we're going to do a little hammer on here. Alright, so we're still bending up to that E. Alright, what we're doing here is taking the first string at 17, bent, hit it again, bend again, and then unbent to 15. Then we go to the 14th fret, hammer on to 15 and pull back off to 14, landing on the second string at 15, and then we'll hit 15 again with a bend to that E. So from the beginning, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that's the second lick that you'll hear. Then we go to the 14th fret, hammer on to 15 and pull back off to 14, landing on the second string at 15, and then we'll hit 15 again with a bend to that E. So from the beginning, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that's the second lick that you'll hear. The third lick, which is in the outro, again, is right at our 15th position here. Alright, it'll sound like this. Whammy bar down. Alright, what we're doing, striking our third string at 17, bent up, catching the first string at 15. Then we're going to pull off from the second string, 18th fret to 15. We'll do that 3 more times. Then we're going to bend up, catch 15 here on the first string, but we'll move to 18 on the first string with a bend, and then again bend, and then you'll hear the whammy bar. Alright, so that whole thing together, slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and then we've got the solo next. Okay, so the first measure of the solo will sound like this. I'll just stop there. What we're doing is we're going to referencing a C chord, 5th fret, both the 3rd and 2nd string, and then we'll separate them on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, 3rd string, 4th fret, move that to 1 and 2, and then pull off. So it's 2 strikes, 2 strikes, strike and pull off. And then when you pull off, you kind of want to let the strings, you'll hit them again. You're referencing the G chord at this point. You can even just hit the G actually note on the 3rd string. Either way, it sounds fine. Now we're going to move that up all the way to the 12th fret. So we'll be covering 12 on the this will be on the 3rd and 2nd string the whole time. So we're going to cover 12. Then we're going to separate it to 11 and 10. Keep that separated, move it down a full step. Alright, so from that point we'll be at 8 and 9. Then we're going to move to 7 together. Then our 5 and 3, 4, 1, 3, and open. Alright, so it's a little bit different. Then we want to come back from there to what we learned in the intro twice. Alright, so that's the first couple measures of the solo. The next lick is going to take us again, third and second string from 7, separate them, we'll go to 8 and 9, up to a full step, 10 and 11, and then 12 together. So it's almost like a triplet. We're going to strike it once and then down, up, down. At that point, we're going to come back to the 8th fret position, do a little Chuck Berry move. Alright, so what we're doing there, the first time through, it sounds like he just catches the first string. But we're going to bend that 3rd string up at 10, catch the first string at 8. The next 3 times we'll catch both the 1st and 2nd string, kind of in a down-up motion. And then you'll hear an open G string. Okay, this is allowing us to move up into the next part of the lick. So let's take it from that 8 slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, the next lick, what we're going to do are some pull-offs. This is all in the key of G. We're going to be pulling off from the 3rd to the 2nd to open. So you're just going to strike it once. And then we'll do the same thing on the 2nd string. The 4th string will be 4 pulled off to 2, pulled off to open. And we'll do the same thing on the 4th string. Then we come back to the 3rd string, 4th string, and then the 5th string will be just like the first 2. We're going to go 3, 2, open on the 5th and 6th string. Alright, so it'll be this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, we're almost there. The next lick you'll hear will be this. Alright, so what we're doing there is use your first finger. We're going to slide up to the 7th fret, hit that twice, then to the 9th fret twice, 10th fret twice, 11th fret twice. The 12th fret will hit once before we move quickly to the 3rd string with a bend and release. Alright? Let's go over it slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to hit that 14 again, bend and release, but we'll hit 12 twice. So that kind of ends it, lets us go off into that very last lick. So from that 7 on the 4th string again, twice each. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we move to the 15th fret of the 1st, then 2nd string, 3 hits each. 12th fret, 3rd and 4th string, to the 10th fret of the 5th string. That's the solo. You got the song. Beautiful, beautiful execution and wonderfully done. I really hope that helps everybody just to play a favorite song and enjoy.